And like you say, man, even in having this conversation with everything when it comes to leading up to prison, going through prison, coming out prison, different things, like, you know, it's the responsibility of us to enlighten those who going through similar situations, because, you know, whether you want to hear it or not, man, if I got an opportunity to speak to a guy that got shit going on, and you know, and I at least throw it out there, because I at least put it out there and, you know, and had a conversation.
And that's just
because
part of paying it forward.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, I can, you know, I feel like at least the blood is off my hands.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here and let you be.
Because I would feel like a fuck nigga if I noticed and don't give you this game and watch something unfold.
Yeah,
like,
for
damn,
sure.
I could have prevented that by hipping little brother that, or hipping dude to that, whatever the case may be.
But I gotta understand that, because I know how I was when I was young. I had, you know, many guys when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? And I consider myself a polished young dude. You know what I'm saying?
Most people know me as Wall Street Real. But for the last 15 years, 14 years, 9 months, 19 days to be exact, the government knew me as MA 43083-039. You're not tuned into MAFIA Vacation. What up, though? It's your boy Wall Street Real. You're not tuned into another episode of MAFIA Vacation. Today I got my partner in the building, my man El Frio, better known as King Chill. What's up, my guy?
What's up, bro? You feeling, you all right?
You know, like you say, going through it and getting to it, you know what I'm saying?
Ain't no question. All the time.
So, you know what I mean? For anybody that been under a rock or not hip to pop culture, if you want to call it, or what's going on in the streets, let everybody know who you is, man. Get the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, they call me Chill, man. I'm one of the original rappers and steppers for this thing, Black Flag, that a lot of people around here is waving. I haven't did too many interviews, spoke too much about anything past, present, or future tense on any of these situations. But it's kind of like, if you know, you know. It's one of those type of things. So, you know what I'm saying? You know, you ask questions and find out. It ain't hard to find.
So, you know, being that this is MAFIA Vacation, that's what this platform is built on, you know what I mean? We've been educational and informative, but at the same time, we got real solid stand-up men telling their story. And, you know, if you know, you know, like my man said, but he was part of the B.M.F case, one of the original B.M.F members. And that's a big case, so that indictment was huge. So everybody speculates about a lot of shit. So give us a little bit about what really happened, how you got indicted. You know what I mean?
Man, shit. You know, that's like going down a rabbit hole. There's so many things in general or specific that I would say that led to me specifically getting indicted. But basically, in so many words, we had, you know, it was a conspiracy case. You know what I'm saying? I was charged with conspiracy to distribute 10 kilograms of more cocaine. And it was basically, you know, more than a couple people that really spoke on the situation, you know what I'm saying? And made statements and made profits and, you know, told and did all of the things that would put me in a position to be in a conspiracy case. You know what I'm saying? I was actually superseded indicted on my case. So once the original people got indicted, the original 30, it might have been like 30 or 32 people, then, you know, some of those people got to speak and kind of opened up Pandora's box to what you have with us, what came out to be like a 142-man indictment.
You know how I know I go, man. I'm actually a victim of the conspiracy thing myself, man. And you know, that's what's going on in these streets, man, because the feds, the government, be it whatever branch you get arrested by, the ATF, the DEA, the Secret Service, they really not doing too much work. It's always somebody that does the work for them, that gives them the next man. Because a lot of us move the way we supposed to move, but it be a dude that we dealing with or somebody that we dealing with that's not moving the way they supposed to move and bring down the whole operation. So, you know, for everybody that's seen the movie, your mother's movie, First Lady of BMF, that scene where y'all got arrested in St. Louis, if I'm mistaken, as it is. Is that when you initially got arrested?
Yeah, that's when I initially got arrested, yeah. Yeah, so that scene was it was a little inaccurate. They dramatized it a little bit in the sense of they had him coming in the garage and all the drugs was there. I actually never got caught with any drugs. You know what I'm saying? So it was specifically, and that's not even to say to, you know, to over blame or put any type of thing on those who did tell. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the fact. Because a lot of people like to sometimes say, you know, one thing about when you running these streets is like, man, if you out here so long, you know what I'm saying, it's not like you perfect and not gonna make any mistakes.
Exactly.
So it can be a
Exactly.
combination of things, but in a sense of really to where with the positioning of how I'm charged and what I'm charged with, I never actually got caught with anything in that federal case. Yeah, so we was in there, the indictments was already put out. They was unsealed. We was actually in the house gambling. You know what I'm saying? We had a, you know, a multi-million dollar gamble that was going on when the feds came and raided us.
So after that day when you got arrested, you got out on bond, right?
Yeah, because I wasn't actually I actually got on bond that night because I wasn't even charged.
You wasn't even indicted at
Yeah,
that
I wasn't
time.
even indicted at that
You just
time.
got arrested for
Yeah,
being on the
pretty
scene.
much. So I believe it was probably like, man, it might have been 20 of us in that house because like I say, we was gambling and shit. So it was a lot of money around. And when they came in, when they actually took us all to the county, that's when they unsealed the indictment. So out of the 20 people that was there, uh, T end up T end up staying. And originally, matter of fact, originally even with that, they only they only charged him. They excused to keep him. They charged him with some weed that was in the house. They charged him with like 2 ounces of weed and like held his bond to that
The indictment got unsealed.
until the indictment got unsealed. Because really, what they wanted to do, I believe they wanted to get Meech. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't even unseal it until when they got Meech as well.
So, you know, this episode is about you,
Hmm.
and I definitely don't want to get into that too much. But
Yeah.
so they got arrested simultaneously
They got arrested probably like right after us, probably like the next day or
the
something.
next
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
So it was within the time span where
yeah. It was
they
all
couldn't even
yeah,
have the heads up of what was going
exactly.
on.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the initial indictments came down and you was let go, did you feel you was going to get indicted, or did you have any inkling? Did you have any? Did you know what was going on?
What you mean,
As far as did you know you was going to be on that list soon?
man? I felt like it could have been a possibility, but you got to figure, man. I was 24 years old at the time. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, young ignorance. You know, just really still not. I ain't gonna say not believing the seriousness of it, but it was still a sense of shit, nigga, a nigga out here. So it's like,
Fuck it.
yeah, it's
The
like
show must
fuck it.
go
Yeah,
on.
it is what it is. Like I wasn't especially at that point in in my life, nigga. I didn't have no fear as far as whatever it was gonna be. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of went about business for real.
And
You
that's
know
the
what I'm saying?
situation a
Yeah,
lot of us find
yeah.
ourselves in, because even myself, when my co-defendants got indicted, and you know that whole situation was like my situation.
Hmm.
They ended up getting indicted for mistakes they made, but even when I found out what was going on, it wasn't no stopping.
Hmm.
It was just keep going.
Yeah, for sure.
Even though I blame it on, you know, our youthfulness
Yeah,
and being naive
yeah,
to
yeah, for
how the
sure.
feds work and
Yeah.
everything. But you know, at that time, you caught up in the moment. It's like fuck it, this balls to the
Yeah,
wall.
no, for sure. Because even some of my older partners, you know, like some of the shit, you know, we used to be doing, you know, me and the guys that was around that was my age at the time, like, man, you crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? You doing this, you doing this. You know, because you got to figure, man, a lot of the shit we had going on, my nigga, we done been in so many situations to where it could have been like, it was no bond, no possibility of parole, like life situations. You know what I'm saying? So like I say, you got that youthful energy, but at the same time, you got that ignorance. It just is what it is. You're not really thinking about. you really in the moment. You know what I'm saying? You're not really thinking about the future.
And that be the thing with a lot of us young black males, man. And that's why anybody watching this, I want y'all to take this heed, especially if you're a younger dude. Like, we do shit without even knowing the consequences of the shit
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. Bad at youthful bashfulness,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
brazenness, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And the ignorance, you know what I'm
Yeah, for
saying?
sure.
Because actually, it's a scientific fact that a male adult's brain ain't fully developed until he's 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a law right now that a lot of the DC dudes that are locked up are getting out of prison right now because they committed murders and got life in prison before they were 25.
Yeah.
And it's proven that they didn't have a full conscience to even
Mm-hmm.
understand what they was doing. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So those are the type of situations we was in because, I ain't even have a license till I came home from prison.
Yeah, yeah, for
So I used to
sure.
be riding in and out of town with whatever,
Yeah.
gun, you know what I mean? And didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean shit. I mean a lot of that, man. I had license in a lot of ways, like I always say, and it's one thing that I learned as far as going through prison and really coming of age in prison that when you doing that, you think that you are a man, you know what I'm saying? Because you're handling certain responsibilities, but like you say, you're not really developed all the way in a sense to be able to process a lot of the other things that come with manhood. You know what I'm saying? So,
Exactly.
so like I said, like a lot of times we believe because we can provide and then we having money and we had the opportunity to do a lot of things that we want to do outside of other individuals that makes us what we would be
And I'm
deemed
glad
as
you
a
said
man.
that because that's the topic I was about to harp on a little bit because I think money does us disservice too,
Mm-hmm.
especially when we get it so young.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can't tell me shit. You feel like you know it all because
Mm-hmm.
you got money and you can do shit more than what an older dude might be trying to tell you something. But
Mm-hmm.
man, get your broke ass on. Or
Yeah.
it might even be get your broke ass on, but you just look at him like you can't tell me nothing. I'm
Yeah,
doing
for
better than
sure.
you.
Yeah,
You
for
know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's some of the challenge that we go through as you, especially in this city, you know what I'm saying? Because I always say one of our biggest problems is, we always feel like I gotta be a young nigga doing it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm young and doing this. I'm young and doing that. I'm young and getting this money. And it's almost like anti anti productive because it's like you gotta think, man, if you living in the realm of society when it's like you graduate high school, you go to college. You know what I'm saying? Maybe once you graduate college at 22 years old or whatever, if you go 4 years or if you go past that, you know what I'm saying? Then you spend some time in the workplace and then you start developing. It's like really when are you supposed to be in a position to when that you have that type of comfort level and have the quality to really the pressure of life is not that deep to actually when you separate it from household into being grown. You know what I'm saying? So when should you be really into position to feel like that you're having something, you being able to take care of yourself and you actually are having money? You know what I'm saying? Is this 28 to 32? You know what I'm saying? What age is this? Because we always feel like I said that you got to be young. I'm young and getting it. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the mottos. That's one of the,
Yeah.
the sayings that
Now
we
it's
have.
young and turn. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
exactly,
Which is
for
the
sure,
same
for
thing as
sure.
young and getting it. You
Yeah,
know what
for
I'm
sure.
saying?
And it's like when you talk to older guys or even like going through the system or just in general, now that I'm older, if you can recall a lot of guys that tell you this, like even at the age I am now, when somebody older, they be like, well, damn, you still young. You know what I'm saying? So age is really just a mindset, man. You know what I'm saying? If you got certain things going on, you can have the ability to maintain that freshness and youthfulness about you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like damn near if you knew then what you knew now,
You
you
handle it
could
a whole
tell
lot better.
yourself, yeah,
Yeah.
really pace yourself. You know what I'm saying?
So that's what we telling the young dudes now, man. Pace yourself, man. Take your time, man, and really try to figure it out,
Yeah.
man. Don't be in a mood. Don't be in a rush to make a move that could potentially cost you your life. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Or your freedom,
Yeah.
which is your life at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
anyway.
Yeah.
So
Because even besides your time is way more valuable than the money. You know what I'm saying? So really it's like we hustling to really gain leverage over our time and peace of mind and whatever it is we doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's really the quality of life. You want to make the money so you're not looking over your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? So you're not getting into all the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You're not paranoid when it comes to your household or when you get random knocks on your door and all this type of things. Like that's the things that I'm kind of like I kind of like fight for.
And at the end of the day, that's what it should be about.
Mm-hmm.
That and your family, but that comes with your family.
Nah, for sure.
That security is security for your
Nah,
family.
for
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
That's what it's all about.
So after the initial indictment and you got out, how long was it before you got superseded?
So that indictment came in October 2005. We got superseded in June 2006.
June
Yeah,
2006.
yeah.
So when they superseded you, did they pick you up right there and arrest you? Do you have to turn
Nah,
yourself
hell
in?
nah, man. That'd be the thing, cause like I was living in multiple states, so when they dropped the superseding indictment, they didn't know where I was at. I was in Detroit, and me and my partner, one of my other co-defendants, it was his birthday that day, so we was about to have a barbecue. You know what I'm saying? And shit, we still end up having a barbecue because his mother called him, and the feds had, they had came and brought the letter to her door. You know what I'm saying? And she was there. So she called him like, yeah, the feds just came, I guess she read the paperwork to him and said that he indicted. So it was like, damn, once this my main man. So that's kind of like I really knew if this nigga indicted, I know I'm indicted. So that's when I called the attorney and he checked. He like, yeah. So when we did that, like I said, we proceeded with the part and I just told him I'm gonna come see him the next day. And then we'll figure out how to proceed from there.
So when you went to see him the next day, what was on your mind?
Shit, man. I don't know. It's like damn near, man, I had to take myself back. What was on my mind at the time, man? Just like damn, this shit that this here we go. This shit real, for real.
Because at the end of the day, to a certain extent,
Mm-hmm.
we all know it's really only a few outs.
Mm-hmm.
Death or jail.
Yeah.
We don't want to go through neither one of them, but that's always a
Mm-hmm.
possibility. So, for me, when it finally hit the fan, it was like, fuck it, I know I'm gonna accept my
Yeah,
consequences.
yeah.
It is what it is. So was
Mm-hmm.
that basically the mindset you was in?
Yeah, because like even when your original question, one of the questions you was asking about, did I feel like I was gonna get indicted initially? And I think throughout that process, throughout them months, I kind of like felt it because it was like a lot of rumblings and shit of like certain situations, and then I was hearing that what people were speaking and was saying, and like more paperwork was kind of like coming out, and then my name was starting to come up more in paperwork, and people start speaking on actually what the role that I was playing that was moving forward. You know what I'm saying? So they was basically like looking at it like, oh, he basically like taking this over.
If dude gone, he the one now.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah, for sure. So it was a lot of that. So um I kind of when it happened, I wasn't surprised, but I really thought it could have went either way for real. You know what I'm saying? But it was like a lot of circumstances that was even because I was still kind of like having conversations with people. I still was going to see people. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that probably was ideal at the time. You know what I'm saying? But how these things gonna kind of play out.
So when you went to see the lawyer and he tell you okay, or he show you the indictment, whatever,
Hmm.
what was the next step? Did y'all go turn yourself into the federal building, or
Yeah.
was it catch me if you can, or what was it?
Nah, nah, nah. So when I went to see him, he basically told me what I was charged with. Um, we had a conversation about that. Obviously, he told me what the return are gonna be. Obviously, him knowing the case, he whacked me. So but we discussed the process about turning myself in, and if I turn myself in, the possibility of me getting a bond. So the thing was, I didn't have no criminal history. Um, so that was the one of the things, what I'm saying, is it was no violence in
The case whatsoever.
within our case. So that was another thing. So like when we was discussing that, going through the process, it was almost like I was damn near kind of sure that maybe I would get a bond if I turned myself in.
And did you get a bond?
I did get a bond. Yeah.
So you got a bond.
Yeah.
And this was what?
Everybody, shit, damn near everybody on my case got a bond.
Except for dude and dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because I know Gazoo even got a bond.
Yeah, for
You know what I
sure.
mean? So,
Exactly.
Shout out my boy Gazoo too, man.
Yeah,
If you
for
know, you
sure.
know.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
If you know, free my guy, man.
They say he be home real soon, man. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? But so you got the bond. So how long was it between the time you got bonded out and you actually went into a federal facility?
So
Or the
this,
court proceedings, not a federal facility, before you actually went to court and got found guilty or took a plea,
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
that process was.
So the process was basically, and this go back to like a nigga just being out there, because it was like at this point, like it was like a gift and a curse of me getting a bond, because at the end of the day, I was still moving, man, still really trying to, still trying to really do some extra things to cushion myself for.
And that probably was an extra motivation.
Yeah, yeah,
I
for
know I'm
sure.
going, so I
Yeah,
got to,
most definitely,
you know what I
most
mean?
definitely. So I end up catching a state case on bond.
I know that, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah, for
saying?
sure. So
So
I end up catching a state case on bond. And then from there, I actually bonded out on that, and then that was, so I initially caught the federal case in June 2006, and then I did my plea next June 2007.
June
Yeah, yeah,
2007.
yeah. Because I had the plea, I pled guilty to the state charge and then the federal
So you
charge.
stayed out on bond that whole time
Yeah, but after that, I was on house arrest.
on house arrest.
Yeah, yeah.
So from house arrest, you got sentenced, then had a day.
What you mean?
Did you have to self surrender to a prison?
Yeah. Well, I self surrendered to Milan Detention Center.
To my
Yeah. Well, I
detention center.
self surrendered to the county, and then I might have been in the county for a second, because even in my state case, I was in the county for a minute. I probably was in the county for like 30 days, and then I got out on the ankle monitor, and and then so when I surrendered to the county jail, I probably was there for maybe a week or so, and then they transferred me to Miley.
Okay, so I'm sure even with no criminal record, no
Mm-hmm.
serious criminal record, we've all experienced jail.
Yeah,
As far as Wayne County Jail,
yeah,
Oakland County Jail, or jail.
yeah.
Going into Milan Detention Center, which is technically the first day of your Fed vacation.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
Man, it's crazy, man. It's that one that was damn near regular. Like, man, it's one thing about, and as I further get to probably telling my story, it's a lot of things that prepare me even for prison, just in general. You know what I'm saying? Just even certain things that I went through in my youth. You know what I'm saying? And then I always tell people like this, that when you young, it's like if you had the experience of going to jail, it can either like scare you straight, or it can make you look at it like, well, shit, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? So I was already prepped, and then by me being on bond and talking to some of the people that I know that had been through situations, um, they really gave me the knowledge and information of
What to be prepared
what to
for?
be prepared for and how to carry myself as I went in. And I got to give a lot of credit to that, because really those conversations um, really was the foundation to how I carried myself
throughout your whole prison
throughout
bit.
my whole prison bit. You know what I'm saying? And that's I felt like I was already I always had a good amount of respect, but I think that even elevated that. You know what I'm saying? Because I just came in as a young guy, kind of like seasoned already on how to move and what to do. So, me being in a county jail, me being in a county, turning myself in, even me prior to me going to the detention center, it was like the detention center wasn't really nothing. Only thing, like it was crazy. Like when I first went in the detention center, cause it was a couple people in there, like uh the first day when I went in there, when they cracked the door, it's probably like 10 minutes in. Um, this one guy, he ended up telling, I ain't gonna speak on him, and then well really with Bush Jones, they got into it. You know what I'm saying? So it was like soon as I got in this motherfucker, like it was kind of like going up right then. You know what I'm saying? So the detention center, you know, that experience, and you know, the detention center was wild. You been to the detention? You
No,
said
you know, I
okay,
caught
yeah,
my case on the Western District,
okay,
so I
yeah,
ain't even
yeah, yeah.
see the detention
Yeah.
center.
So the detention center is wild because it's like you got a lot of people in the detention center that's still fighting their cases. So you got a lot of extracurricular shit going on to whether it's like you got people coming back to court, you got people still fighting their cases, you got people facing a lot of time, you got people not unsure of how the system worked, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of shit where it's like if you were impressionable, you know what I'm saying? I seen a lot of guys get who wasn't sure like if they was gonna remain silent or if they was going on the fence about telling or whatever. I seen a lot of guys, you know, get turned like that. You know what I'm saying? You know,
And
people playing on their ignorance and they fear like, oh,
exactly.
you gonna get this amount of time, whoop de whoop. You know what I'm saying? I seen people guys jumping on guys' cases, acting like they doing their legal work, then go jump on the phone with the federal, you know, with the
And that
federal
was like
agent
for
card, you
me,
know.
detention center or not, it's still the
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah.
I'm just in another place
Mm-hmm.
fighting my case. That was the most stressful time of my whole bit.
Yeah,
Seeing all that go on.
yeah,
Like, damn,
yeah,
this is what really go on in here, bro.
yeah,
These niggas is tripping,
yeah.
bro. Because, like I say, I was in Nuevo, a little federal holding facility in the county jail, Wayland,
Mm-hmm.
White Cloud, Michigan. And these dudes was running around talking about, you got to check, you got to check. So I'm the only one from Detroit there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really kind of a little standoffish with everybody anyway. Then I kind of know what's going on a
Yeah.
little bit, not to trust these niggas.
Mm-hmm.
But they keep talking about this check shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is a check? So a dude that I knew from somewhere ended up coming. So, you know, quite naturally, that was who I was talking to. So I
Mm-hmm.
say, because he had already been, he was coming back from court. They were shuffling him
Mm-hmm.
around. So when he get there, I'm like, man, what the fuck is the check they talking about? He said, boy, you don't know what the check is? I said, no. He said, a 5K one. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It was amazing. Like, this is what's going on. So
Yeah.
I think that what you're talking about, and I understand it. I can even probably only imagine the vibe, what it is at
Yeah.
mine, because it's much
Yeah.
more bigger and a lot more dudes from our way and just a
Yeah.
bunch of bullshit going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, that was the yeah, that was real serious in there, man. You know. Yeah, that was real serious. Going through that situation. So, you know, you just had to be real careful and mindful in that. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know, period. And that state, and you know what I'm saying? Those situations is designed really to break you. You know what I'm saying? They designed to play on your ignorance. They designed to play on your fear. And you don't know what you got going on. And when you going, so that's like, you know, I gotta be thankful for the bond situation. You know what I'm saying?
But that goes
It,
back to say this, man. The feds play all type of dirty games,
yeah.
man. They got all type of bullshit ass tactics. So it's really you can't win. And like I always say on these episodes, it's you versus the United States
Yeah. Yeah.
government and all their resources.
Mm-hmm.
And they ain't gonna play fair. None.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say some of the time. They're not gonna play fair. None. If they want you, they gonna throw all the resources they
Yeah.
got in the
Yeah. For
world to get
sure.
you. Even if their resources just a motherfucker that you eating a noodle with, and you tell him a little of your business, and then there you have it. He get on the phone with the prosecutor, and your ass nailed to the cross. It's
Mm-hmm.
that simple.
Yeah. Yeah. It's deep. I wouldn't even say, you know, it's I wouldn't even say it's simple, but it's complicated at the same time. You know, because you know this shit has been thought and planned out. So like I say, it's designed to break you, man. When you going through that shit, and you got all these stresses on you. You got your family, you got your girl, you got your kids. You know what I'm saying? And you know what's so crazy? Like a lot of dudes deal with the situation, and this will come in being a man comes in that because you know the people who love you, they want what's best for them. You know what I'm saying? So
And I've seen that.
yeah,
A lot of women play on these
no for
dudes.
sure.
Who you love, you gonna love this.
We're even in a sense of whether they plan on them or whether they just being serious and honest. Because the thing about it is, you got more value to them than what they give a fuck about you having to whether it's your friends, your co-defendants, you know what I'm saying, whether it's your associates or anything.
You being free,
So
what you can do to them benefits them more than you being in prison.
well, I'm just saying a lot of times it might not even be that they playing a game on you, but it's just even if their intention is genuine because they want you home. You know what I'm saying? So even if they telling dudes like, well, why you doing this? Fuck them, and you know what I'm saying?
And that's what I meant by play on you. I
Yeah.
didn't mean play on you as far as get down on you or get over on you.
No,
I
yeah.
meant play on you like say some shit like that
Yeah.
and try to convince you to go the other way.
Yeah.
Because
But what I'm saying is play on you in a sense of whether it's playing on you because of it's just specifically trying to manipulate in a sense or in a sense of like they genuinely looking at it like that. You know what I'm saying? The family looking at it genuinely like, or some of your parents like they don't understand. That's why like as a man and as within your unit, you have to that principle has to be defined on what you standing on. Because outside of that, it's not up to anybody to understand why maybe you wouldn't tell on this dude, or why this don't really this you didn't get caught with nothing. How much do this really got to do with you to why you know what I'm saying? Why you won't free yourself under these circumstances? You understand what I'm saying?
For sure.
Because it's a lot of people, it's a lot of guys. Like I say, when you talk about even in a conspiracy case, like what is it really there? You know what I'm saying? What is it really there? And then a lot of times they out to, it's like who beat who to, comfort in their situation. You know what I'm saying?
So the vibe, the whole atmosphere was vicious at Modern Detention Center. So
Yeah.
how long did you end up staying at Modern Detention Center before you actually went to your first federal prison?
4 months.
4 months.
Yeah, 4 or 5 months.
4 or 5 months.
Somewhere in between.
And the first stop on your Fed vacation was, if I ain't mistaken, FCI Elkton.
Yeah.
So when you got to FCI Elkton, did you get on Con Air? Did they take you on the plane? Or did they drive you from Modern to Elkton?
Damn. I went on Con Air. Yeah,
so you landed.
Went to Oklahoma.
Yeah. So you came from Oklahoma to the airstrip of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Me, I remember this vividly because, like I said, it was my first spot too, FCI Elkton. Coming through that little hick ass town on my way into Elkton from Pittsburgh, I'm like, what the fuck I done got myself into? So when you first got to Elkton, what did you feel like? Now I'm really at a prison. How was that?
I mean, that was and I do tell this story. That's why I say me being there is probably more memorable when I first got there than anything, because I remember when I got there, and when we came in, that shit was like max crowded. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, it was like niggas on top of niggas, like, so that shit, it was just so many people in that bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Back then, sometimes you couldn't even get on the compound. You had to go to the whole.
No, exactly. So matter of fact, yeah, you're right. When I first got to Elkton, I didn't even go straight to my bunk. Yeah, I went to the home.
Because there wasn't no room on the compound.
Yeah, that's where I met our good partner Stacks from Baltimore. Rest in peace, my dog. Stacks, man. We was in the hole for like a couple weeks together before I went on the compound and shit. And he was just kind of enlightening me about even, at that time, a lot of the shit that was going on a compound. But once I got to the compound and I sat on my bunk and I just looked around. I was on the top bunk. We was in them cubicles, and we was in 3-man cubicles. I just sat on my bunk and looked around. I'm like, shit, here we go.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We got to do this, motherfucker.
And that was the mind state I had off the break. But as a man, a lot of you might not want to admit it, but it always was still like a fear of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Not like in sense I'm scared because I'm a bitch
Yeah.
ass nigga. It was just like a fear of the
Yeah.
unknown. But coming through R&D, as soon as I got there, you might even been, you wasn't out there,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember that day clearly. You might have been playing basketball,
Mm-hmm.
but L and TB was out there on the
Yeah.
rec pad.
Yeah.
So as soon as I come through R&D, they screaming my name. So it
Yeah.
was like the fear of the unknown had went out the
Yeah,
window.
no,
These
for
some of my
sure.
partners from the
Yeah, yeah,
street
yeah, yeah,
here.
for
You
sure.
know what I mean? So
And that's how it happened to me too, because Rockman was in there. You know what I'm saying? So Rockman was actually my celly and PA Rock. And you know, we knew each other. And you know, that's really what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Once you going and you know, once you been out moving around, people gonna know who you is.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you really somebody to know, so that was really so it was like that for me too. And he was my celly. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of my situations through that journey has always kind of been like somebody who instantly wired me up and gave me
And that's
knowledge and
another thing.
information
Like
about the
Big was my
situation.
first
Yeah.
celly,
Mm-hmm.
and I had new Big from the street. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So it was like, this is just another,
Yeah,
man.
for
It is what
sure.
it is.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah. So yeah, you know, so like I say, man, a lot of these things, you know, they prepare you and you know, about these situations. I think even as we talking, it's like one of the things that we should do too is like because the fear of the unknown is big. Like I say, you got people that's on the fence, like, man, you know, this shit real. Like, you know, obviously, you know, we not um we not in agreement with anything when it comes to telling or nothing like that. But I'm just saying that to say, like, I just seen a lot of people on the fence. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the line is thin from being solid
And not being
and,
solid.
and not being solid. You know what I'm saying? So the ability to for whether the dudes in the prison, your attorney, the judges, you know what I'm saying, your family, you know what I'm saying, to play on a fear and ignorance is that's a real thing. So it's like I got a lot of people, co-defendants and friends who go through situations. Now at the end of the day, it's like nigga be solid. But you can know everything about the law and can be telling somebody exactly what they need to do. But at the end of the day, it's about what they comfortable doing. You know what I'm saying? You can say, oh, file this motion and this gonna get you for that, and this, you know what I'm saying, this gonna get you for that. And all you can do is put the information out there
If a
because
motherfucker take heed to it and
exactly.
and take advantage of it, it's on them.
Yeah, for sure. Because your fight ain't everybody's fight. You know what I'm saying? And I just, I try to be mindful in that situation up to a certain limit.
So the fear of the unknown went out the window. You got comfortable. You seen a couple guys, you knew that.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing what you know now, because of course in the beginning we don't know, no, we just hear stories. But
Mm-hmm.
what was the vibe like at Elkton? Like, because Elkton was kind of, it wasn't laid back, but it was laid back. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It wasn't like a violent prison.
Yeah, yeah.
So how did you take that? Like, what was the vibe like for you? How you felt about that when you first got there? It was like, oh, this is a cakewalk. It is what it is.
I mean, I ain't look at it like I guess it was cool, man. You know what I'm saying? Like we had our
And
way,
then I
man.
think I was about to say
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I think what made
yeah.
it kind of better for us was it was so many of us.
Yeah.
And we always, like me and a little bro I had on the episode, we spoke about the Midwest dudes being players.
Mm-hmm.
So it never was a bad vibe because we
Yeah.
all players. So
Yeah.
it was just like, okay, it is
Yeah.
what it is. We all doing this
Yeah.
motherfucking, we're gonna do it to the best of our
Yeah.
ability.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
trinkets or whatever we can get from,
Yeah.
okay, we just gonna do this
Yeah. Yeah,
motherfucker.
for sure. And then not violent mean like when we talking about violent like stabbing and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you gotta stand on. You gonna have times you gotta stand on your business.
Yeah,
You
for
know what I'm
sure. Because
saying?
you in
Yeah,
prison, so it's
yeah,
gonna be a
for
lot of
sure.
situations
Yeah,
where
yeah. So
some
that's what we talking
situations
about. Yeah,
come.
violence. But I mean, when you an individual who carry yourself and move in a certain way, it's like man, we not ducking no wreck, but we avoid shit like you know, a lot of times, even when it be other shit, you know, getting into things, it be because of other individuals. You know what I'm
Exactly,
saying?
and I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that because you know me
Mm-hmm.
and you was involved in a small situation. It didn't turn into nothing, but the
Mm-hmm.
situation that didn't have nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
When the boy stole dude glasses,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
and remember we found out who stole the
Yeah, yeah,
glasses,
yeah,
and
for sure. Yeah.
if I'm correct, it was because it was a collaboration who stole the glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio dude and New York dude.
Mm-hmm.
So when we go approach them, it's just me and a little black.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a situation that could have
Yeah, yeah, for
potentially
sure.
went to
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah, for
But
sure.
you know, I give you the credit for being a politician that you are for. And it was the dudes that had respect for you in the
Yeah,
compound.
yeah, for
And
sure.
not saying that they didn't have respect for me and Lil Black, but at the time, I definitely wasn't as polished as I am now, and Lil Black wasn't polished at all.
Mm-hmm.
So had Lil Black been speaking, or had me been
Yeah.
speaking, it could have went left.
Yeah.
But by you being speaking, and
Yeah.
you know the
But it was
respect,
a mixture of that because at the end of the day, shit, if it gotta go down, it gotta
no,
go
and
down.
that's what we
Yeah,
was
for sure.
prepared
Yeah,
for.
for sure.
It
Yeah.
wasn't nothing we weren't
Yeah,
prepared
yeah,
for
for
because we
sure.
didn't go, we didn't walk into the
Yeah,
situation
yeah,
not prepared to handle
yeah,
some
yeah,
business.
yeah, for
But
sure.
if it could have been handled
Yeah, definitely,
cordially, like
definitely.
gentlemen, which it was, cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, like at Elkton, I didn't even have no type of situation besides that situation. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
I got into my first like physical altercation until like maybe 7, 8 years in my bit.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah,
what
for
I'm
sure.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah, me too, probably. Yeah, because it was really more so physical, more so leaving Elton, you know what I'm saying, to when I really got into shit. But it like, cause like you say, it's already, you know, it's pretty much already understood when you in your you in your circumference in your
Backyard.
backyard in your comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? So, but like when you kind of move in different areas, it might be a little situation of getting tried a little bit
For
different.
sure.
You
Because
know what I'm saying?
motherfuckers feel more
Yeah,
comfortable.
yeah,
And that's what goes back to say it's like how we players.
yeah,
We was down in 300 deep on that, but we
mm-hmm.
wasn't like trying to step on dudes and
Yeah,
abuse
yeah,
our
for
power
sure.
because
Yeah,
of that.
yeah,
But
for
when you
sure.
get to other jails, West Coast, East Coast, down south, them dudes be kind of on that. Like
Yeah,
for what, for fuck whatever
yeah,
reason you're
yeah,
on that for, but okay,
yeah,
I'm gonna match your energy.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
And I done had to match that energy a
No,
few
no, for
times. You
sure.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So one of my most memorable moments in Elkton was this, and maybe you can give me a little bit more on this because I was there. We all went through it. Was the food strike, which eventually I ended up getting shipped months later for
Mm-hmm.
to FCI McKean. But rumor had it in y'all unit, the Ohio boys beat up the warden.
Man, y'all be forgetting a lot of this shit, man.
Remember
That's
Silk used
crazy.
to
Yeah,
draw.
yeah,
Remember
yeah,
they
yeah,
beat up
yeah,
the
for
warden.
sure. Yeah. That's crazy, man. Like it takes you really have these conversations because man, you did a lot of time. I did a good amount of time, like in comparison, whatever. I did 10 years, 3 months to be exact. You know what I'm saying? But so and it be so much shit that be going on because I done been through countless food strikes, countless shit like that. And yeah, now that you saying it, I forgot all about that shit. Yeah. So yeah, was it it was the assistant ward or
Yeah,
something? Right?
story.
Yeah. I don't remember that motherfucking name, my nigga. I done been through had so many wards and assistant wards, and I be forgetting about so much shit. So and I be running into dudes all the time, my nigga, whether you know what I'm saying, I'm a little burnt out at this point. You know, it's just I be forgetting a lot of that shit, man. Maybe a motherfucker with the
And hopefully,
PTSD and all that
and
shit.
hopefully after I'm home a little bit longer,
Yeah,
I forget a lot of that
yeah,
shit. But
for
right
sure.
now, a lot of that shit is so fresh on my mind because
Yeah,
I'm so fresh
yeah,
home. And being in prison so long, it's like, damn, this is what I did for the last
yeah.
15 years. So this shit like a part of me right
No,
now.
no, for
As
sure.
I'm growing
Yeah,
and living out here,
yeah,
I'm forgetting a lot of the shit.
yeah,
But you
yeah,
know, a
for
lot of
sure.
it do come from conversations like this.
No, no,
And
for sure.
most of the dudes has been on my show I've done some time with. So it's always a significant
No, no,
moment or
for
something,
sure.
a memory that
Yeah,
happened. You
and
know what
that
I'm
always
saying?
happen when you get to having a conversation with dudes that you've been locked up with. Man, that shit was a long time. You gotta remember, man, how much shit that you can remember and how much shit that you can forget. And over that time, my nigga, you know what I'm saying? So it does take for people to bring up because that was real significant.
Yeah,
And I remember that part about it. And I think I went to the hole too.
you did.
Yeah, I went to the hole
You
too.
did.
Yeah, for sure. Um, man, I done had several situations like that,
That was
man.
that
Yeah,
was a hell of
yeah,
a moment. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
the food strike. Remember, our unit was the last unit that was holding on.
yeah.
All the other units had stopped because they let the drill program
Yeah.
out. They was out there playing basketball.
Yeah.
And I remember this shit so clearly.
Yeah.
I remember there was the Billboard Awards was coming on, and
Mhm.
Beyonce was performing, and niggas was starting to cry about, I want to see Beyonce, I want to see
Yeah.
Beyonce. Man, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
We hope we dropping our nuts on these
Yeah,
motherfuckers.
for
And they
sure.
say the warden came up to y'all unit begging them
Yeah.
because the region had to be contacted.
Uh-huh.
So we was like a day or two away from the region
Yeah.
having to be
I think
contacted.
Silk was on the other side. That shit happened on the other side. Was he on the same side or the other side?
No, he was on the side with Smoking them, I think.
Okay,
on Alley Dog's
yeah,
side.
for sure.
But it was a
But some of the assistant warden tried to grab him.
yeah, because it was a desperation move. He got to coming up there begging and let off the strike, and he grabbed him, and they said they punished him.
Yeah, for sure. That's crazy, man. Damn, where are they now? I'd love to see what that dude.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Because I can't even remember a lot of them dudes' names, but a couple dudes went to the hole behind that situation.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because I don't even remember why the fuck because I'll be bucking though. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say I done been through that situation a lot of times. And man, I be trying to be, all these I always try to give things perspective, even in shit like that, man, because dudes be like, oh, why this person break and all this. You gotta figure in those situations, man, like just say for instance, you go on a food strike and you ain't going to the child hall or something. Now my locker full. You know what I'm saying?
I know where you getting at with that. Because that created a lot of confusion.
Yeah, for sure.
Within the food strike, because okay, the Mexicans, them motherfuckers gonna make a big ass bowl of rice and some tortilla chips, and they gonna feed all they whole people. And, a lot of us, even if we had the money in the beginning of our bit, we was living. I know how I was living. I had the money to have my locker full every week, but I'm just living by week to week to week. So when the food strike come, I ain't prepared to go no weeks without having to go to the store.
I mean, and then you don't even know how long these things is going to go, because you got to be prepared for this shit to go on forever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I say, man, it be levels to this shit, man. And you know what I'm saying? It's just like when dudes be like, oh, how a nigga gonna do this? Like, man, I'm not saying if he should or he shouldn't, but I understand that in those circumstances, what a motherfucker do, you can't expect that. You can only, you know what I'm saying, you trying to feed everybody, but it's just like when it comes to a lot of situations with us, it's just like our lack of preparation, man. And it always boiled down to that.
Right there. You say lack of preparation, but it got to the point where they was coming out passing the trays to us, and we throwing the trays, us that got food, or if I didn't have it, a partner might have it, but for the motherfucker that don't got no food and we can't afford to feed them or have enough food to feed them, how can you tell this man not to take the tray?
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of dudes, man, ain't disciplined like that. They mind and they will ain't strong. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes don't know, like, man, I done been fasting. Like I say, you be in a hole, or you go through them counties, or you be through certain shit, and it's like you gonna get your last food at 5, 6 o'clock, so you gonna be hungry.
Fucking right.
You know what I'm saying?
You might get that motherfucker right at the 4 o'clock count.
Exactly.
And ain't nothing else coming through that motherfucker dope.
So you know what I'm saying? It's like you doing this, and a nigga saying, you trying to help as many people as possible, but that shit ain't stretching like that, in a sense, to where when niggas see you cooking up, because niggas be in that flex, you know what I'm saying? They see niggas cooking up with the big bowl, and you cooking up with your guys, and you know what I'm saying, and you dividing as much as you can, you know what I'm saying? But some motherfuckers only getting a soup. You know what I'm saying?
Elton was a motherfucker, man. That time was a motherfucker, man, because I'm just sitting here remembering some shit, man, like us and that motherfucker hustling.
Yeah.
We getting that little whatever we was getting at the time, the little weed, we busting the shit up, we in there bagging the shit up, and we running tickets and everything. The grind didn't stop.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure. That's what I say. Like, I tell people all the time, man, like, and my man used to say this, like, it's some people who come in a situation, man, and they quiet, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we was active, like I had a full balanced bit, and I'm not glorifying that shit. Like, like I say, when you younger, it's just more so like, fuck it, but man, we did everything.
And that's what I'm saying. I can say.
And then, like, with me, like, from hustling to running the ticket to weed to cigarettes to whatever, my nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Always what it was.
Yeah. And at the same time, but I was always, with me, I was always I was always hitting them classes and shit too.
And that's what I was just about to speak on, because it's crazy because in the beginning I was loose. I was rough around the edges and didn't have that polish.
Yeah.
So that's something that I always admired about you. We being the same age, like damn, dude, be on something. But at the time, I just wasn't in the mind state ready to be on that.
Yeah.
And it came full circle because Charles. Shout out my boy Charles Hall.
Yeah, shout out
You know,
to
Charles Hall used to
definitely.
teach a real estate class, and you was in a real estate class. But back then, I wasn't trying to hear none of that shit.
Yeah,
I
for
didn't give a
sure.
fuck about none of
Yeah,
that shit.
yeah,
I
for
want to
sure.
go sell some weed, smoke some weed, drink some
Yeah.
liquor. I'm in the mix of all the
Yeah.
bullshit. So I ended up running into Charles 10 years later.
Yeah.
And I was mentally prepared for Charles.
Yeah.
So it was like, damn, I remember those moments when bro was on this years ago, but now I'm finally at the point where, you know what I mean? And meeting brothers like Charles was beautiful because you meet dudes like that in the feds, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So I want to move to this, like at Elkton, because we still at Elkton. What were some of the most memorable dudes you met?
Definitely Charles was one of them. I always speak about, I met a lot of good dudes, man. Like I met in politics with a lot of good guys. Some of the guys we may not be all the way in contact like that because obviously, life paths sometimes be different, man. But like I say, in my experience, man, I met a lot of quality guys that I learned things from. I think you interviewed real green eyes, but I say real green eyes because that them nation guys. But one thing that I always liked and admired about real, and I tell people this all the time because it's such a gift to be able to ask questions. You know what I'm saying? And you even see it like you understand that with your platform. You know what I'm saying? When you see journalists, the best of journalists and all that, I always felt like he was a guy that always asked me the questions to challenge myself and to bring the best thoughts out of myself. And we spent a lot of time walking around the track just talking. He just be, hey, chill, man. What you think about this?
Yep.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
him. That's
Man,
him.
what if this? What if this? Okay. You know what I'm saying? And like I always thought about and I always kept that in mind because man, that is a gift. That's why I always like having conversations with people because when I'm having a conversation with somebody, it's for us to get the best out of each other. You know what I'm saying?
Steel sharpens steel.
Exactly.
You know, that's one thing me and you always talk about. Like a lot of our conversations could be podcasts, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But it's like a meeting of the minds, you know what I'm saying?
For sure, yeah.
Matching wits and
Exactly.
just sharpening each other,
for sure.
polishing each other, you know what I'm
Mastermind,
saying? So how long did you end up staying at Elkton?
I was in Elkton from 2007 to 2012.
Because I left in 11.
Yeah.
And I got shipped to FCI McKean. And, we stayed in contact the whole time. So I remember you ended up leaving from the hole, right? Or no, you went out west.
I went out west, yeah.
You went to
I ended up getting a transfer. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
They was shitting on me as far as getting a transfer, man. Did I leave in 12 or 13? I felt like I was in that motherfucker forever though. It was time for me to go for sure. But I was in there I think from 2007, almost 6 years, man, maybe to like sometime the end of 2012.
Yeah, because I was at Forest City a while when you went out to Safford.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first went out to Forest City, you sent me a letter to get a J-Bo. You know what I'm saying? So leaving from Elkton, going to FCI Safford.
Yeah.
Me personally, I've never done no time on the West Coast. Yeah. Was that a whole culture shock going from the East Coast or the Midwest to the West Coast?
Not really with Safford, because one thing I say about Safford that as far as our experience, I never been to a camp, but when I went to Safford, that shit was really like how you heard about the guys talk about the feds, historically. When I got there, it was like outside. I thought that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like the units was different. By being in Arizona, the compound is predominantly everything is outside. Only thing that you do inside is sleep. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you watch TV outside, all the activities and everything is kind of outside. It's hot as a motherfucker out there. You know what I'm saying? So walking on that yard, it was almost like a fucking excuse me. It was like a community. So that shocked me more than anything. And then once again, so My man was there though. You know what I'm saying? Because at the same time, you talking about Detroit, but at the same time, you got to figure I got co-defendants everywhere too. You know what I'm saying? So my man, one of my co-defendants, Wu, was out there. You know what I'm saying? Then my man, one of my other partners, he had just left.
Is it the same Wu that was just talking shit about Bo?
I ain't seen lately, but
Did he got a Vlad interview?
He got a Vlad interview.
Yeah,
I ain't even seen the whole.
Yeah,
when it comes to a lot of that shit, man, I
him,
kind of look at certain parts and kind of like keep it moving.
Him and Bo got some weird shit going on, man.
Okay, I gotta look. I gotta really see. I really wouldn't think that he would say too much about him. I will, but maybe I gotta look at.
Yeah, you gotta look at that.
Okay.
Now, as far as the prison politics, was the West Coast politic element at Safford any?
Nah, the West Coast politics. I respect the West Coast politics. You know what I'm saying? Because I like it. You know, in the West Coast because of the gang shit.
The respect level.
It's the respect level, and it's more structured.
And I always say that, like, prison politics are needed.
Yeah.
Just like politics for our country is needed. I just spoke on this on the episode, but sometimes when the dudes that have a little bit more power in the politics game take it too far or abuse their power, that's when the politics go wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
For the order, for everything to be smooth, for it to be checks and balances, prison politics are needed.
No, for sure. And it's just like everything. You always gonna have even in those situations the dudes who get out of pocket. It's just like anything, man. Even when you got structure and order with certain things, it's some people that's just gonna buck and do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? So some politics is whether they handling that with inside their car, but sometimes it's like when it comes to maybe like going back to what you said, like Detroit is just different, man. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like how in all circumstances, not only do we thrive in other cities and other places that we go, you know what I'm saying? Because we not overly arrogant, we not overly aggressive, you know what I'm saying? We stand on our business when it's necessary, you know what I'm saying? So going into those type of situations, some dudes do take it a little too far because of the numbers that they may have. You know what I'm saying? But with me, like I say, coming and everywhere that I go, especially like I say, from the moment that I've been in jail, like I've always been a man of respect. You know what I'm saying? So whether if I go somewhere and people know me, whether if I go somewhere and my guys preceded me, you know, it's already kind of like understood. So it's like whatever yard that I'm hitting, and that's just in life in general, whatever circumstances I'm always kind of like introduced to the right type of people. You know what I'm saying? So
and that means a lot.
That means a lot.
And I mean, that's something I know by just off life.
Yeah.
And that's something I've experienced off me and your relationship and some relationships you have. And you introducing me to certain people and they perceive me a certain way after that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure it happened because of me introducing somebody to somebody off my name. Okay, that's real, man. It's cool. You know what I mean? So I definitely understand that.
Because one of my old playing partners, you know, told me ain't nothing like a proper introduction, man. You know what I'm saying? So who introduce you and how they introduce you, you know, that identifies the person that you're being introduced with.
We've had that conversation before, and I've seen that play out.
Yeah.
What you introduce me to somebody, how you introduce me to somebody.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's somebody worthy of introducing you, you've introduced it right.
Yeah.
If it was just somebody that's just around for the purposes of just not being disrespectful, it's just a
for sure.
You know what I mean? But at FCI Safford, bad being a West Coast jail because me personally, I've never even known it to be an Arizona car. What was the vibe at Arizona in Stafford, Arizona, as far as who had the biggest car?
Well, when you talking about West Coast, now you're talking about a lot of Mexicans.
That's why.
Yeah. So now you know, you got Bloods, Crips, Arizona car, but Arizona car when it come to blacks, it is kind of like small. Like I say, that it's a strong Mexican. The fucking jail is probably 70% Mexican.
Okay. And when you get into Mexicans, you know, they got politics within their own.
For sure.
It's a bunch of Mexican politics. So what were the gangs out there? Because Mexican politics is really basically gangs.
Yeah.
It's not like cars like us. It's gangs or either cartels if you want to get to that. So what was it? Was it Paisa there, Norteño? What
Yeah,
was it?
yeah. So you got the Paisas, which is really all the Mexicans from under the border, not American raised Mexicans. Then you got Serranos. On that yard, it was mostly, man. I think on that yard was Serranos and Norteño. I want to say it was.
Because
I think they. I think
Serranos and
they.
Norteños don't usually
Yeah,
walk on
no,
the
yeah,
same
exactly.
yard.
That's what I'm saying. On that yard, it was kind of, but that shit blew up. That shit blew up, man, for real. Like I say, it was crazy. It was so sweet there that I think that they kind of put that politics to the side. But what was crazy was if if you went there and then you went to another jail, if I remember correctly, and you was they wasn't then they heard you was walking together, they couldn't go to the they can only go to certain yards.
And that should be crazy how
Yeah.
that should be with the Mexicans. Because
Yeah.
I remember when we left Elkton, remember a bunch of us got rolled and got shipped to McKean.
Mm-hmm.
So the dude that was doing my tattoo, he was a Texas Mexican
Mm-hmm.
of Iuka.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, at Elkton, it was really wasn't none of that. I don't remember a strong Serrano
Yeah.
presence at Elkton, but I know it was Pisces.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, at McKean, the Pisces and the Vayukas couldn't walk together. So when we got off the bus, SIS tell the dude, like, no, you can't come here. And he was like, man, I'll take my chances. So when we got to the unit, we got out. It was crazy at McKean because it's a bunch of Mexicans in front of every unit. So when a Mexican come up, they run up to him, down there stripping him, looking for his tattoo. So when they seen dude had the palm trees on him, which is the Vayuka gang sign or whatever, they told him he had to go.
Yeah. Now that was another thing going through transit too, like going into the initial before going into bit that I experienced when they was doing that shit too. Like you know what I'm
we
saying,
go to
checking
Oklahoma.
Yeah, when they checking in, you niggas getting fucked up about that. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know. You going into that situation thinking them motherfuckers look alike. You know what I'm saying? So you really don't know what the hell they got.
You don't know
it
until we learn it from being in those type of situations.
Yeah, hell yeah. So yeah, I definitely seen a lot of that at the beginning, going through the transit with that. But yeah, out there in Arizona, I say yeah, it was a strong Paisa population, strong Mexican. You know what I'm saying? Cali north and south population.
So the vibe out there at FCI Safford was like, it was a little different because it was West Coast politics, but it really wasn't strong West Coast politics.
What you mean? And what's that?
As far as where it's majority Mexicans, so they dropping their nuts on blacks and shit like that.
I mean, yeah, they ain't really one dropping their nuts because I mean everybody pretty much stick to they sticking to they self, and then like they sticking to their cars in a sense. They ain't trying to do too much overstepping. My experience with a lot of the Mexicans, I mean, they stand on what they stand on,
but they be respectful of
yeah,
others. You know what I'm saying?
they kind of be in their lane. You know what I'm saying? They ain't trying to push no lines
unless it has to be pushed.
Unless it has to be pushed. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't in a sense of like that.
But I've heard stories from like places like Victorville where that is the case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know.
But at Safford, that wasn't the case at all.
In Safford and in Tucson.
Oh, so how long did you stay at Safford?
Shit, I stayed at Safford for probably for about 2-3 years, and then I stayed at Tucson for probably about 2-3 years.
So you went from FCI Safford to FCI Tucson.
Yeah.
Did you get in trouble at FCI Safford and go to FCI Tucson?
Yeah. Yeah, I got kicked out of FCI.
Yeah, because if I'm mistaken, I remember your mother telling me the situation had caught with some. You know what I mean? Yeah.
For sure.
So from leaving from FCI Safford, going to FCI Tucson, what was the vibe like at FCI Tucson? Because FCI Tucson is a medium.
Yeah.
And like I always say, it's different security levels.
Yeah, for sure.
And when you go to those higher security levels, you're dealing with dudes with more time, with pretty much nothing to lose. You know what I mean? You might be in a cell with a motherfucker with 200 years.
Yeah, for sure.
This motherfucker don't give a fuck about nothing. You know he never going home, so it's just he always mad at the world.
Yeah.
And the majority of the compound be like that at the medium I was at. So was it like that at FCI Tucson?
Yeah, it still wasn't that bad in a sense. It was cool, but like you say, you still doing time. Like I say, with guys who got a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? You still, like I say, it was a yard to where it was disciplinary. So a lot of people was coming from getting kicked out of other spots.
Bunch of knuckleheads and
Yeah,
troublemakers.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So um, it was still cool, man. Once again, man, like we ain't beating a dead horse, but I mean, it's familiar when I'm going, especially at this time now. You know what I'm saying? And just the whole
Because
shit.
you was then at the end of your bid at that point in time.
Yeah, but then at the same time, I'm going. All my friends and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it was because it was a lot of us that got actually kicked out of Safford too. You know what I'm saying? So uh, once we got over there, I was already with a lot of my guys who was over at Safford. You know what I'm saying? So like it was still cool, man. That yard ended up blowing up too. That yard ended up blowing up on some Mexican black shit, but it was really this guy, man. It was so crazy. Um, it was this guy, and this nigga was like a super aggressive nigga, man. And he was doing too much, like he was doing too much, super aggressive, and like we saying, just moving different. You know what I'm saying? He was a West Coast nigga, and he was just moving crazy. And the nigga start, he had a lot of like prison money and shit like that. And I'm make a long story short, the nigga was a prison informant. You know what I'm saying? So everything that he was reaping and that was coming to him, and that was crazy because even though sometimes being in jail, you hear about that shit, I never seen it to where it actually came out. And this dude was trying to set me up in the joint. He kept trying to.
I'm gonna stop you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna let you continue that story, but I'm gonna stop you. We experienced that at Elkton.
Okay.
With OG.
Right. But the thing about OG, a lot of dudes, but I still didn't know it. It was always like speculation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you really it never really came out. Like this shit really came out to that's what it was, to where it was like the Crips had to, it was a big demonstration, and really on that it was really a Crip and a Mexican demonstration that had to get this dude off the yard because he was bucking. You know what I'm saying? Because he would thought he was that tough. You know what I'm saying? So it was like dudes was like really wasn't trying to get down on him like that because they was feeling like this nigga was reputable and all that shit. But the whole time he built up prison wealth and prison leverage by being an informant. And I think his shit really ended up coming out because, matter of fact, my man, and this one of my dudes too that I gotta find. He was my dude from Nebraska. You know what I'm saying? Because we was having our way in that joint too. You know what I'm saying? But my man from Nebraska, he was getting it in. You know what I'm saying? And the dude, he ended up going out on a visit, and the dude, unbeknownst, the dude had told on him. So when he coming back through the thing, they popping.
And that shit is so, like you say,
yeah.
A lot of times it's unknown.
So he had the shit, and you know what I'm saying? He had the shit where dude had told on him. You know what I'm saying? And other guys had, and they was sending it actually back to the yard
to let motherfuckers
see what to let motherfuckers know.
But like you say, that shit go under the radar, unknown so much. But that same situation is at every prison you go to.
Yeah, no, for sure.
One of the most and like
and like I say, we know that, but I never until then. And this was damn near. This was my last stop. Like you say, with other individuals, motherfuckers be saying that. But you know one thing about it, being a jail nigga, we like, well, a nigga gotta see the work. Like, so when you not seeing it and you really don't know to when it comes to certain individuals, you don't want to put that bone on. And it could be shit to where it's like, damn, looking like close to damn. But you not really knowing that shit, like I say, because the yard blew up because of that shit. You know what I'm saying? To where we really knew that that's what this dude was doing.
But that's the same as what's going on out here in these streets.
Yeah.
A lot of these niggas with the motion.
Yeah.
A lot of these niggas, this nigga with all this money and this tough nigga or whatever.
Yeah.
They doing it because the government letting them do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they feeding the government information.
Yeah, for sure.
Look at a motherfucker like Whitey Bulger.
Yeah, for
Buddy
sure.
Barger was down there untouchable for years,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
because
Yeah.
he was a
Yeah,
rat.
yeah, no, definitely, definitely. And it's a lot of circumstance like that. That's why this shit vicious, man. You know what I'm saying? This shit vicious. And like you say, man, even in having this conversation with everything when it comes to leading up to prison, going through prison, coming out prison, different things, like, it's the responsibility of us to enlighten enlighten those who going through some of the situations, because whether you want to hear it or not, man, if I got an opportunity to speak to a guy that got shit going on, and and I at least throw it out there, because I at least put it out there, and and had a
And that's
conversation,
just
because
part
I
of
feel
paying it
like,
forward.
yeah, because it's like, I can, I feel like the blood, at least the blood is off my hands. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? I'm not gonna sit
Exactly.
here and let you be
Because I would feel like
ignorant.
a fuck nigga if I notice and
Yeah,
don't give you this game and watch something unfold.
yeah,
Like,
for
damn, I
sure.
could have prevented
Yeah,
that
for
by
sure.
hipping little brother that
Yeah,
or
for
hipping
sure.
dude to
Yeah,
that, or
yeah,
whatever the
for
case may
sure.
be.
But I gotta understand it, because I know how I was when I was young. I had, many guys when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? And I consider myself a polished young dude, you know what I'm saying? But only polished to the extent if somebody was trying to come to me with information that was positive, you know what I'm saying? Or in the sense of like somebody coming to me with business or something like that, and I really wasn't trying to hear it at the time, you know what I'm saying? I thought the NRBR was what I was
What we was
doing.
doing.
Yeah.
I couldn't see nothing else
Couldn't see
besides
nothing
what I
else,
was
for
doing.
sure.
And a lot of us in those situations had acquired life changing money,
Yeah.
but wasn't even trying to see nothing else
Yeah, for
because,
sure.
like them shirts was saying, you can't sell dope forever.
Yeah.
Shit, I thought you could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when you
Yeah.
thinking of the feds. Now, y'all situation, everybody know y'all situation,
Yeah.
BMF, that was like a real big
Yeah, yeah,
situation.
for sure.
So a situation like that, you could see the feds is going to
Yeah.
eventually come.
Yeah, yeah.
But a lot of us is just grabbing
Yeah,
a
I
joint
damn
or
near
two or
always, yeah,
whatever.
yeah, I always damn near consider myself federal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of us is just
Yeah.
doing shit on, and a lot of dudes was doing shit, and I experienced dudes in jail that was doing way less than what I was
No,
doing,
no,
but
for
then the
sure.
feds. So a lot of us don't never even think
Yeah.
that coming to the feds is a possibility
Yeah.
for the amount of drugs that we got or
Yeah,
the
for
motion that
sure.
we got
Yeah.
or what we
Yeah.
doing. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like I say, yeah, we seen a lot of guys with life sentences with nothing, man. Nothing, man. It was, that was crazy.
It's terrible. And
Yeah.
again, that's, is you versus United States government.
Yeah.
And, you know,
One thing
always
I want to say too, like we speaking on when it was crowded too, that I can say in a situation where I know for the prison system that Barack did, he came and with them drug laws and the crack law, you know what I'm saying, that Barack did to not to perfection, but he got the process
he
of
got the
change.
ball
He
rolling.
got the ball rolling and changing a lot of them laws, man. To like, and he actually came in the prison system.
And he's actually went to El Reno.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And
And he's seen it. Like, you got all these people sitting on top of each other. It's three people, 3, 4 motherfuckers in a cell like that. This is crazy.
And I actually seen that, and I remember this real clear because Real used to always tell me this. And at the time, I didn't understand what he was saying, but Real had been in 17 years
Mm-hmm.
by the time we linked up in
Yeah.
prison. So he's like, man, Real, I know it just might sound crazy to you, but you came to prison at a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And, I missed the whole Obama administration on the street.
Yeah.
I got locked up as he was taking
Yeah.
office.
Yeah.
So a lot of the changes that he did make, I
Yeah.
seen to happen,
Yeah.
even though it didn't benefit me.
Yeah.
I didn't get no benefit because Obama actually changed the drug ratio.
Yeah.
He made it from 100 to 1 to 18 to 1, but it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't retroactive.
Yeah.
So I didn't get it until Trump in turn made it retroactive
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
2018.
That's another
But
thing. Yeah.
that was a ball that Obama got to
Yeah,
rolling.
for
You know what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, I got to say this. Those laws that was made, the architect of those laws was our president right now. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't know
No, for
that.
sure. Yeah.
Joe Biden the one that
Yeah.
made that law.
Or even going back to when they said, like, I think, like Reagan started it, but then even with Clinton, a lot of the president that a lot of people praise and all that, you know what I'm saying, they enforced and
Prison.
shit.
For my take on it, Reagan made the laws. Clinton built the prisons and filled the prisons. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
But I think even the laws that him and Biden, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. They
Yeah,
was definitely part of,
for
they
sure.
definitely played a part in the plan.
And like you said, what you just said, it was a plan.
Yeah.
That shit was a strategic plan.
Yeah, for sure.
Target our community,
Yeah, for sure.
destroy our community,
Yeah.
destroy our homes and
Yeah.
everything, man. So don't be naive out there, man, in these streets, man. At least be aware of what's going on and know what's going on, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people think this platform is just for me to promote prison. It's not, man. And I always got to say this, like, I'm here to let y'all know shit, and so you'll be up on game, because ain't nobody put us up on game.
Mm-hmm.
We ran the streets naive and had to face 11 years, 15 years of our life for that shit. So we paid the cost. Well, you don't have to pay the cost. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So just tune into my Fed Vacation, man. You're going to get a little bit of everything, man. You're going to get some laughs. You're going to get a few good times. You're going to get some game more than anything. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So back to FCI Tucson. You came home from FCI Tucson.
No, I didn't.
I mean, you were released from federal custody from
Yeah.
FCI Tucson.
Yeah.
You know, because I know,
Yeah.
you know the whole story. You know, I had a phone at the time,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know, I remember when they let you out of FCI Tucson, it was like a day passed where nobody know what was going on. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I called
Yeah.
mom. She like, he was released. I don't know. So it was like a panic where
Yeah.
nobody didn't know what happened. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
for sure.
as far as leaving federal custody, you left federal custody from FCI Tucson.
Yeah.
And
Now that was actually the worst part of my bid, leaving.
then having to go through the state shit.
Well, because it's some, and like this shit got to really be reported, but it's kind of like things in life in general. When you go through something so traumatic that when you going through the process, you be like, I'm gonna let everybody know, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna speak on this, and at some point I am going, because I don't know if they corrected that or not, but when I was released from federal custody, I'm thinking I know I'm going to the state, um, because because obviously I know I have a state detained on me, but I'm thinking I'm going on a plane to the state.
They didn't drive you all the way from
Let me
motherfucking
tell
Tucson
you,
to
I
Michigan.
thought me and you talked about this before.
No.
Now let me tell you this. I'm telling you, literally, this is one of the worst times. This is probably one of the worst times in my life. Like, this is one of the times where I actually was damn near like broke all the way down, because I went from a high, like, so when I'm being released, up to the point I know the time that I'm being released from federal prison. So, you know, I'm telling my partners, like, I ain't gonna get too fresh. So, you know what I'm saying? I'ma just send me some white shoes, some white Hirachis. Because this is my man telling me they wearing with the sweatsuits and all that. So I'm like, tell them send me the white Hirachis. I'm gonna give me a fresh sweatsuit, you know what I'm saying, and all this. So when they releasing me, um, when I'm leaving out, I'm bopping. So I'm about to go through the airport. I'm feeling good and all this shit. And I'm like, shit, it might be a few women through the airport, and they got a fresh cut, looking good, feeling good, fresh workout. You know what I'm saying? The whole shit. So when I'm exiting intake or outtake or whatever the fuck it is, the people is like the drivers, like, they like, oh, you got to come this way. I'm like, come this way? What, I'm
For
coming this
what?
for what? You know what I'm
Who
saying?
is you?
Yeah,
Where's wrong with
yeah,
you
for
at?
sure. Yeah. So they like, we transport. I'm like, okay, transport.
What, y'all taking me to the airport?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't know what the fuck going on. So when they exit out, and I see a van, and this van is like a caged dog kennel. You know what I'm saying? It's like a caged dog kennel. Capacity is probably like, let's say if the capacity is 10 people and maybe 3 in the front. So let's just say the capacity 10 people in the back. It's 20 to 25 people in this
Get
van.
the fuck out of here.
And when they open the door, to the van, when you see everybody, these motherfuckers is in there filthy, looking like dogs that just been, you know what I'm saying, that been transported from the pond. This shit is literally like modern day slavery, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing how filthy and dirty everybody is, and it's looking like these motherfuckers been on this van for weeks. And when I get on the van and start having conversation with them, They have actually been on this van for weeks. The van, you got to sit straight up, no windows. You know what I'm saying? Dark in this
Some human
motherfucker.
trafficking type
My
shit.
nigga, straight human trafficking. That's exactly what it is. The stress level is high. The drivers only get paid like $15 an hour. They high stress level. And we left from Tucson, Arizona. From Tucson, Arizona, went all the way up to Humboldt, California, then all the way down. But that trip took 3 weeks.
So you
You know what
stayed
I'm
in the
saying?
van for 3 weeks.
We stayed on the van from 3 weeks, and then we would stop to a county jail
And y'all asleep.
every 3 days in order for us to sleep in the county jails. But you got to understand, you know how county jails is, especially when you're going through
They the same as that
it
van, just in a building.
exactly filthy. You know what I'm saying? So I can write a movie just on that experience just alone. I went through the craziest shit on that motherfucking van ride, my dude. So by the time I made it through Detroit in that 3 week, I was so filthy. Them white shoes. I remember when we got to the first county jail, and one of the COs complimented. She was like, "Oh my God, how are your shoes that white?" To when I got to finally made it to Michigan, my shoes was black as these fucking Air Force Ones I got on. You know what I'm saying? That was the craziest shit that somebody would ever experience. We ate, and like I say, we ate I think 3 times a day, but the budget was like $4.50. So I ate every fucking dollar menu, 4 for 4. This when I first learned about 4 for 4. You know what I'm saying? All this shit we ate all that the whole time on the whole trip.
So how y'all use the bathroom? When y'all stop at these county jails?
You stop at a county jail, or you might stop at a road, what they call a road
Yeah,
stop,
rest
a
area.
rest area or something like that. But they ain't giving a fuck how often you think they
Hell
letting you
yeah,
stay.
and
You know what I'm saying?
I
Yeah,
can imagine how that,
yeah.
because my worst experience when it comes to
And
transit
this
was,
all type of criminals.
yeah,
This run the gamut of all type of criminals. You got motherfucking killers all the way to the motherfucking junkie who ain't washed his ass, and fuck, prior to getting jail, he probably ain't washed his ass to 4 months prior to getting on this
so the
motherfucking
smell
thing.
was probably
Oh
horrible.
my man, it was horrible. You couldn't sleep straight up, so you had to sleep. The only way that you can sleep is, you had to be dead, tired, exhausted.
You just fall
Because
asleep.
you couldn't sleep. It was no way for you to sleep because you sitting so straight up that it's impossible for you to go to sleep. So you finally get so exhausted to where you gotta lay on the floor. Now mind you in cuffs, your hand and your feet. So you gotta figure out how to wiggle your way down to lay on the floor. Now when you lay on the floor, you probably got 3 people that can lay on the floor. You know what I'm saying?
Between the seats.
Between on the floor in between the seats, while everybody got to put their feet over you in order for you to sleep.
Yeah, that shit sound crazy.
Yeah,
And like I say, my worst experience was leaving from FDC Philly, going to FCI Jessup in
yeah,
Georgia. So that was a 16-hour bus ride, handcuffed and
yeah,
shackled. And that was like my worst experience in
yeah,
transit. You
yeah.
talking about you went through that for 3
I went
weeks?
through that for 3 weeks. No exaggeration.
You motherfuckers need to be stopped,
Yeah, for
man. And
sure.
see, that's what
No
this is about,
exaggeration.
man. It need to be shit, like you say,
Yeah,
this platform, this podcast is to
yeah,
speak out about conditions like that, man, to
yeah,
bring awareness to it, man,
yeah.
and hopefully stop this shit, man.
Literally modern day slavery, bro.
This
Like
shit need
I'm
to
talking
stop,
about
man.
no exaggeration. You would never in your life want to go through no shit like that.
So after being released, you end up coming through the state system, getting a little state number, or whatever, and you was finally free. So how long today have you been home?
Shit, it'll be 7 years in August.
So in closing, I'm gonna take it to this. I'm gonna ask you 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of the things you learned in prison that's helping you be productive and successful in
Mm-hmm.
society now? And after that, I want you to let everybody know some of the things you got going on,
Yeah,
because of course I know, but
yeah,
let everybody know some of the things
yeah,
you got
yeah, for
going on
sure.
that's productive in society now.
Yeah. So you say some of the things that I learned in prison that helped me be productive.
Yeah.
Man, like I say, you know this, man. When I was in prison, man, I mean, I did a lot of shit. I was into a lot of shit, but I had balance, man. I damn near took every real estate class. I damn near took all any type of class that you can take that I felt to where even people would be like, um, what you going there? You ain't going, they ain't talking about shit. Cause my thing is like, man, and this is my thing in life, even when having conversation. If I can get one small piece of information out of having a conversation, out of doing something, then it's beneficial to me. So I mean, I took those classes, man. I took etiquette classes, like even with Charles, like I learned things about etiquette, how, you know what I'm saying, that some of the things in principle and Charles, like I say, we experienced being locked up with not only some good dudes, but some great dudes, you know what I'm saying? Some of these guys who really had the world at their hands, and for whatever reason, whether wrong or right, they lost their freedom. So just things like that, man, taking etiquette classes, things that you wouldn't understand, like when you were a young man and adolescence growing up, how to shake a man's hand. You know what I'm saying? What's the meaning of shaking a man's hand a certain way? What's the certain type of eye contact that you're supposed to have? Things like that, man. Like even from a lot of guys in the nation, man, just understanding, seeing how disciplined those guys was, and what they stood on, and understanding to really, it's about self knowledge and self improvement. So you're not placing excuses or blame on anything outside of yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, I'm not looking at it to, if something going on to me, I'm not looking at it like whose fault it is. You know what I'm saying?
Because you checking yourself.
I'm checking
What can
myself.
I do to make this
Yeah,
situation better? Or what did
exactly.
I do wrong to make this
Exactly.
go this way?
Exactly. I'm looking at it like that. I'm looking at it like I don't focus so much on problems. I'm solution based. You
And that's
know?
that's that's that
Yeah.
that should be the only way to be.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people always want to place the blame on somebody else when the problem a lot of the times lie right in your lap,
Yeah, for sure.
in the mirror.
Yeah. I learned patience. And like I said, I learned that time is really more valuable for money. You want money, but money is ultimately to buy your time back and to buy your peace of mind back. So it's like people don't understand it. You realizing this already, that how fast time go by. So I'm really trying to slow time down. I'm trying to get the most out of my days. You know what I'm saying? Because I know this shit quick. Even the amount of time, the time that I've been home is quick. The time that we went through prison, it was a long time, but shit, man, once you get into your rhythm, and that's just life. And I tell people that all the time. I tell people that's why, like, even through the pandemic, like people was really going through it and stressed out. Like I looked at it as like a bit. I knew I was comfortable. I got all my shit in order. You know what I'm saying? Had my family there and this what we gonna do, and this how we gonna do this through the process of whenever they decide to open this motherfucker back up. So I learned a lot of things, man. Patience, but patience is one thing that we always dealing with. You know what I'm saying? I still struggle with patience to this day. But I think,
You would think after 15 years that I would
yeah,
have a great amount of
yeah,
patience.
yeah. But I
But
think, yeah,
you know this about me that I really don't. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? That's
but
something I struggle
yeah,
with every
yeah,
day.
for sure. But I think, man, I would love to see the person who has patience mastered. That's somebody to have a conversation with,
You goddamn
because
right.
even I would probably be considered a patient guy. You know what I'm saying? But I know that's something that's constantly being worked on. You know what I'm saying? And because we have um we have dreams, aspirations, and then when you're used to having those things and being able to do things in a way to quickly obtain those things, it's that much harder when you have to go through the process. But again, that's what the education is about, because you know what I'm saying, the things that's worth having, you're gonna really have to work. You're gonna really have to work for.
A baby wasn't born overnight.
Yeah, for
Rome
sure.
wasn't built in a
Yeah,
day.
diamonds. You gotta really go through the fire.
And that's something, a conversation as you being one of my main men, my close partner.
Yeah.
That's a conversation that me and you have a lot, and you experiencing that already. You told me this from on the phone in there. I did a lot of shit that's gonna help you have a roadmap to get out here and
Yeah,
what to
for
do and what
sure.
not to do.
Yeah.
And that's a conversation we have all the time about not only exercising my patience, but just taking my time,
Hmm.
letting things progress the right way.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be in the. I haven't been in a desperation where I had to make a
Yeah.
desperation
Yeah, for
move, but
sure.
just being able to talk to dudes like you and dudes like you that have been through that, and that's helped me a lot because
Hmm.
I deal with it every day.
Yeah.
From having instant gratification to have
Yeah.
to be patient. That's
Yeah.
like it take a strong
Yeah.
motherfucker to do that.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I'm
sure.
saying?
So even like the conversation with us having, like how they got the reform with Meek Mill, Jay-Z, and the guy Michael Rubin, like, and that's pretty much geared towards probation situations. But we really need a reform to guys that's making the transition from prison to home. And I got a lot of partners. We got a lot of partners, but I came, you know what I'm saying, in my situation, like I got one more guy that's my partner that's like the last of all of us. And that'll pretty much be it for me for all my dudes who've been through prison. But I'm always the guy who guys been coming home and I can kind of point them in the right direction, because it's definitely not an easy thing at all. You know what I'm
And
saying?
for
You need
me,
somebody to give you the perspective on why it's not easy and why you need to have that type of patience.
that's more valuable than me coming home and you giving me a bag of money.
Yeah,
Because I can still be naive and do dumb shit with the bag
yeah,
of money and not
yeah,
know how to transition,
yeah, for sure.
not know how to move forward. So
Hmm.
that's a valuable thing. So what's some of the things you got going on right now?
Yeah. So right now, man, as you know, man, we moving and grooving, man. And all these things have been processed. I've done a lot of things since I've been home, man. Promotions, real estate, all different type of ventures. But and through those things, like I said, everything hasn't always been easy, but I've learned a lot, and it pivoted me into the position that I am to now, to where I'm in the movie business, movie distribution and production business. We got J Bird Entertainment. So we distribute films. Like if you're a filmmaker, we can get it on all these various platforms, whether it's Tubi, Amazon, Peacock, Netflix, you name it, we can do it. We do that. We have our own production company under the fold of J Bird Entertainment. We just finished our first production. It's a movie called Cons and Cougars, and
What
that's
your boy got a cameo
yeah,
in?
my boy got a cameo. I got a few of my partners. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. Like I was telling you too. One thing about, especially here, it's a ideal time, because the Detroit, the Detroit
The emergence of our
ended
city,
the emergence of our
the
city, and these
industries here.
industries is popping, man. So it's like a lot of opportunities for us to do things if you build in the right relationships. But other than that, we got the media company, man. We got the Forum magazine. The
Shout
Forum,
out GX,
yeah.
man.
Shout out my boy GX. He also been locked up too as well. You got to get GX on here. You know what I'm saying? Good dude. And we having a lot of motion with the Forum, man. If you an artist, an entertainer, or a business, a brand, or anything, you trying to get promoted. You trying to get your situation out there. You know what I'm saying? Tap in, email us, hit us on the gram.
Contact us at
Yeah,
theforummag.com.
yeah. We doing a lot of we doing digital marketing and consulting on the Forum as well. So tap in with that situation. We got some music situations that's kicking off. We really pushing all the M's, man. And with me, all these situations came about, and I'm a strong proponent of this, man. Marketing and promotion. You know what I'm saying? So any type of business or product or brand that you have, man, you have to be willing to invest in your marketing and promotion. And I don't even have conversations with people about business or further conversation if it's not some type of marketing budget involved. And I see that, and it's so important, because all the situations that I came about, and a lot of these situations came about turnkey because of my ability to market and promote. So I would say that. But yeah, we running it all the M's. You know that. Movies, music, media, marketing. We've been in the marijuana business,
In millions.
real estate, monopoly, millions. You know the whole thing.
So man, I definitely want to take this time, man, to give you your flowers. I
I
like that saying
appreciate it.
when my boy Nori say that. I'm a big fan
Yeah,
of Drink Champs, but
yeah.
I want to give
Once
you
we
your
open,
flowers, man.
once we up the budget, you had a physical shit.
I definitely want to give you your flowers, man, because you've been a big conduit to my transition.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, and I think we got a bond that's a lifelong bond. It's more of a brotherhood now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate you. You know what I'm saying, bro? I definitely appreciate you coming through Bless the Platform, man. And you know what it is. It's only
Yeah.
up from here,
And he
man.
know I don't do this too often. You know, this is one of
I
my
might got the
first.
first
Yeah, this
interview, you
might
know
be
what I'm
the.
saying?
This
Or
not
one of
the
the
first.
first.
One of the first for sure.
For sure, man. But most of y'all know me as Wall Street Real. But for the last 15 years, the government knew me as MA 430-83039. You're not tuned in to my Fed Vacation.